Hello, Scream Demons, and welcome to the Screams from the Basement podcast.
This is the scariest horror podcast on this side of the Black Lagoon. Screams from the Basement discusses the best double features and top 10 lists the genre has to offer.
We also interview the industry's finest that make our screams become nightmares. I'm one of your creepy co-hosts. I am Casey.
And I'm Sam the Damned, and let's get screaming.
Let's get screaming for the first time in 2026. Let us be the first and last to issue a Happy New Year.
Yeah, if anybody else wishes you a Happy New Year, say no. We were the last ones to do it.
Yeah, there's only two people that can wish me a Happy New Year, either for the first or the last time. And it's Sam and Casey, the Basement Boys.
Yeah. 100%.
100%.
The
Sam.
end all be all. These lists that we are about to do
Yeah.
are they're the law. That's it. These are the best. No one else's opinions matter.
None, because our opinions are number one, baby. Number one.
Yeah.
No, so today we are doing our top 10 horror movies of 2025 list. Our big kind of reset on the year. We're resetting from 2025 to 2026. 2025, it was a big year for movies, especially the horror genre. It was a big year for us on the podcast. A couple things from us. I mean, we started our own horror convention.
Yeah.
We did our second annual film festival.
Mm-hmm.
We hosted, 5 movies in October at the State, plus monthly movies every month for late night at the State. Man, we
hosted quite a bit.
We've been busy. 2025 was a busy year. The world outside of movies and us, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it because this is the escape. This is the escape from all of that, all that noise. This is unfortunately for you guys listening, this is the good noise. I'm sorry to tell you, our voices, we're the good noise out there in the world right now. No, hopefully if you had a 2025 like ours, where the world felt a little bit in disarray or strange or fucked up, hopefully our podcast, us doing this, has brought you a little solace, because it has for us. I know it has for myself. Gives us something to look forward to each and every week, and we hope our listeners feel the same.
Yeah. Contrary to how my vibe is right now, I'm just so tired because, it was New Year's Eve last night, and yeah, I'm still half asleep. But
we're fresh. We're fresh on the new year, listeners.
Yeah, we're totally fresh. I'm fresh as hell. No, I love doing this episode. This is fun. Like, you won't see us like talking about worst movies on this episode. You won't hear us talking about the things we didn't like. This is all the stuff we loved, And if you don't hear a movie that you loved, you can let us know. There are some that we haven't seen yet. There are some that maybe we just didn't vibe with, but you did. We'd love to hear your favorites, even if they weren't ours. Just don't bitch at us if your favorite
contrary to what Sam said earlier, no, these two lists that we are about to give out, both of our individual top 10 lists, are not the end-all be-all. Here's the thing about movies. You can have your own opinion. You like what you like, you don't what you don't. And that's how it goes, and that's fair. And I think that's what makes movies and movie discussion online so great, is that you can have all these opinions. It's not a territory thing. It's not I saw this movie before you did, or I like this movie more than you did. It's like, no, you watched the movie and either you liked it, you didn't like it, or there's things you liked and you didn't like about the movie. That's the thing about film opinion. And again, at the end of the day, we just have to remember these are our opinions, and that's what this episode is. It's not a catchy title though to have, like our top 10 opinions of the best movies of 20. No, this is the top 10 movies of 2025, because that just sounds better on the algorithms. But again, these are just our opinions. But Sam, before we get to our top 10 list, how did you feel about horror as a whole in 2025? Not necessarily movies, because that might have a different perspective, but horror, since we are a horror podcast, how did you feel about the year in horror altogether?
I mean, I think horror had a banger year this year. Like, I think that, like, if we're talking about movies in general, things were a little bit rough. Like, big superhero movies were not making the money that they were, nor that they had been in years past. Like, a lot of big tent poles, like, there were some that were huge, but there were other ones that just underperformed, and you saw that across, like, kind of across the whole year. But the consistent genre was horror. Like, all of the sleeper hits, all of the breakout, like, holy crap, no one expected this to take on the box office this much. It was horror movies. It was original horror movies. Um, and I mean, some sequels. There are a lot of sequels. I try not to put too many sequels on my list, but there are a few. There are a few sequels and franchise movies on my list this year. And that's just because like what people were doing with these franchise movies and these sequels was so good that I just you can't deny it, you know? So yeah, I don't know. I think horror's in a really good place. There were a couple of really amazing horror television series this year. I still haven't watched the Stranger Things series finale, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
I've
You know,
heard
you
things
had It,
online.
Welcome.
Stranger Things fans are a special breed. I don't think they liked the second half of this season, from what I've been
So
seeing.
yeah, Volume 2 got crapped on a lot, and then the finale just came out last night, and I was like, I liked Volume 2. I don't know what everybody's talking about. Like, I people just have to not enjoy, like they just have to like bitch and moan
Yeah.
about things, I
Here's
guess.
the
And
thing,
like
people. If
it's
you don't
fine.
like it, just don't watch it. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I stopped after season 2. I'm like, yeah, just isn't for me anymore. I'm not going to
Yeah.
watch the rest. I'm not going to
And
bitch
that's
about it
fine.
online either.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you had shows like It, Welcome to Derry that I know you loved that show. Again, I still have to finish that one.
If we counted that as a on you know, a possibility on our list, it would be top probably 3 for me this year.
Yeah. Well, and that's me with Alien Earth, which also happened this year. Like, I loved that show. I thought it was amazing. Like, I covered the whole thing on Patreon and just absolutely adored everything about it. So, like, horror, I feel like, is in a really good place this year.
Yeah.
Like, I think that you're seeing a lot of franchises doing something new and different with their franchises. You're seeing a lot of original horror that is completely like just something you'd never see in another time even like I don't know and I'm obviously speaking about some very specific movies that we'll probably get into in both of our lists but like this was a year that horror filmmakers were allowed to let their flags fly and I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
I thought there was some really good stuff.
My thoughts, yeah, I echo everything that you said. I have 16 different movies written down here. Obviously 6 of them will be honorable mentions because we're only doing top 10 lists, but I easily could have done a top 20 even this year.
Oh, right.
For the first time in a long time, my 9 and 10 were like so hard to figure out where other years it was like, I guess I'll just put this at 9 and 10 just because I got to have a top 10. But this year was like, I had to kick stuff off. I've been moving stuff around for the last week. So this was a very tough year to come up with a top 10 list. And I'm still not 100% confident on it. This is what I'm feeling today on the first year of 2026 as our first day of 2026 as we record this podcast together of, hey, these are my top 10 movies, top 10 horror movies of 2025. And that might change if we did it 6 months ago or if we do it 6 months from now. Like could be very, very different lists. But Sam,
Yep.
are you ready to get into our top 10 lists? I feel like you're changing it as I'm talking here.
I am indeed, yeah.
So how this is going to work as you're of course fixing your list and maybe moving something around or adding something, taking something off. How this is going to work for our listeners, we each have our individual top 10 list for the year. We do not know what is on the other person's list. How it's going to work is we're going to go from each number down, 10 being our the lowest on this list to number one being our number one horror movies of the list. And we'll go back and forth between Sam and I. If a movie is higher on one of our lists, we will wait to talk about it if it's higher. If my number 10 is Sam's number 3, hey, we'll wait to talk about it at Sam's number 3, just so we're not having a full discussion at 2 different times in the show. But Sam, do you have any other notes before we finish this? Do you have a thought on how many crossovers will be on our list out of 10 movies? I think we will have, I'm going to say we're going to have half of our list will be crossovers. 5. I'm going to go with 5.
I'm going to go 4 just because I think that there have been a few that I've taken off of my top 10 for reasons that this is a really weird year. There are a lot of movies that I actually rated a higher star rating than the movies that I have on my top 10 list.
Same here.
But I'm like, I need this one on my top 10 list. Like, this one was too weird, too, like, underrated. Yeah. My number 10 is going to piss so many people off, dude. Like, or at least make them go, what?
We might have a similar number 10, or at least thoughts of what should be at number 10. I don't know. This is going to be fun. So, Sam, should we get into this?
Yeah, we should. We 100% should.
All right. Well, Sam, let's kick it off with you then. What is your number 10 horror movie of 2025?
So I don't feel good about any of this number 10 business because I have like 3 movies that have been flipping in and out of this number 10 space. I decided to go with something that I thought really just kind of went for the throat, and a lot of people didn't like it. It currently boasts a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics. But it's Him from director Justin Tipping and producer Jordan Peele. This was a last minute watch for me. I watched it in this past week, just because I was like, I know critics have been kind of crapping on this movie, but I thought the trailer looked incredible. I like Jordan Peele as a director. I like Jordan Peele as a producer. Like, I think he's produced some really good stuff too with his Monkey Paw. And I'm a big fan of Marlon Wayans. What can I say? So, Him is a football horror movie about a young quarterback who gets injured. He gets attacked by a mascot, essentially, like a guy wearing a mascot suit, hits him over the head with a hammer, and potentially ends his career before it begins. But he gets a second chance from Marlon Wayans as not Isaiah Bradley. It's Isaiah something. Isaiah Bradley is a Marvel character. But yeah, this Isaiah, Marlon Wayans' character is like the GOAT. He is considered the greatest football player of all time. He is like on the verge of retirement, and he invites this young up-and-coming person, played by Tyreek Withers, who was also in I Know What You Did Last Summer this year. One of the best parts of that movie, too. Yeah, he goes to this super exclusive compound in the desert to do this training with Marlon Wayans, and crazy shit just starts happening. And this movie has some of the most inventive cinematography. It has just these weird visual elements that like just blew me away. Like, I was locked into this movie visually so much. There's plot elements that I'm like are kind of a little underbaked. They're a little, like, if you're going into this movie looking for plot, you're not going to find it. But this is a vibe movie, and to me, I loved the vibe of this. It explodes in the third act in like this bloodbath that just kind of comes out of nowhere, but it's so goddamn funny that I was just like, I don't know. This one was weird. It was unashamed to be weird, and I thought it took some big swings. And even if not all of them paid off, I was like, I enjoyed that ride way too much for this to be like, I don't know. I don't understand the hate that this one got, because people really just did not like this one, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know. Him was cool. I liked it a lot. So Him is my number 10.
I still have not seen Him because I saw those reviews, and it wasn't good. Blasted with bad reviews. But like, yeah, I see it's on streaming now. I'm not telling
people they're gonna like it, but I did. So And I'm not a football fan either. I should point that out. There are a lot of reviews that were like, maybe if I was a football fan, I'd like this more. I don't think so. I think if you're a football fan, you're probably going to hate this movie because it does not like the NFL. And it's very clear about that. So, yeah. Him.
All right. Well, then
Casey?
my number 10, again, I've been moving stuff in and out the past week or so of should this be a number 10 or this? This morning I finalized the list and I landed on my number 10. I feel like this one should be here because of what it represents for a movie series that's been going on over 10 years now. This was the send-off for two of the greatest horror characters of the past 25 years, and that is The Conjuring Last Rites from Michael Chavez, the send-off to Ed and Lorraine Warren, Patrick Wilson, and Vera Farmiga. Yeah, I had a ton of fun watching Conjuring Last Rites. I honestly think it's the second best proper The Conjuring movies after the first one. I would put this one above 2, and of course above, what's the third one? The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put it well above that one. But yeah, just above 2 in terms of my enjoyment of this movie. Again, I think what makes a Conjuring movie so strong is the performances of Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. They are just perfect to play these characters of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And they've done such a great job of making audiences love them as horror characters. And I think that's such a hard thing to do, is make audiences love the protagonists as much as they love, like, the creepy monster characters, especially in this series, like Annabelle and the Nun and Crooked Man and all the other monsters that they have in these movies. It's that you love Ed and Lorraine just as much as any of the horror going on in the movie. It has some fun scares. One of my favorite parts of this is now Judy Warren, the daughter of Ed and Lorraine, is kind of the main character of this movie. It's kind of about her taking over the family, and Ed and Lorraine really like letting her go and be in the world. And what I love kind of most about that is that there are these nice callbacks, especially character callbacks, in that in the whole movie she's terrified of Annabelle. And that goes all the way back to the first movie when she's at home with her babysitter or the nanny, whoever, and Annabelle is terrifying her while the Warrens are out doing their investigation. Annabelle's still at home, terrifying young Judy. Annabelle, of course, is the main antagonist of Annabelle Comes Home, which is, again, a Judy Warren story. So it just ties an entire series of movies together in a perfect bow. Has a fun little ending where we get like some cameos from previous characters from the Conjuring movies. And Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, they get a wonderful send-off at the end of this movie. So for that, and what it did for this entire Conjuring series, I felt like it needed to be on my list because I love that series so much, and so I felt like this was a perfect send-off. While the movie itself might not be a perfect movie or the best Conjuring movie, maybe not even the 10th best horror movie of the year, but what it represented and what it's put out there for the characters of Ed and Lorraine Warren on screen, I felt it needed to be my number 10.
No, I had a lot of fun with this. This one didn't make mine, but yeah, this movie is like, I mean, we did a whole Conjuring episode this year, and those first two are just really kind of on their own level to me. But this new one, like once you know that this series is just turned into kind of fun popcorn spooky horror, and you just go with it, you can have a lot of fun with these movies. And
Yeah.
I feel like this one was a ton of fun. Like, I thought there was some really good creepy imagery. Like you said, it's a great send off for these characters and these actors that have been portraying them. I enjoyed this one a lot. I'm kind of happy that it made your list.
Yeah, between this and Annabelle Comes Home, those are the two most fun movies in the series where
Oh
they're
yeah,
just like, we're just gonna have fun with scaring you as the audience, while also like giving some character depth to the Warrens.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I think I even put in my like letterboxd review that it gave me Annabelle Comes Home vibes because it really does.
I
But
mean,
it's
there's a
yeah,
point where I think Judy is just envisioning this, or the demon is doing it, or something. But there's like a gigantic, like 12-foot Annabelle doll. It's
yeah.
like, what?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. That sequence is great. Um,
So that's my
yeah,
number 10, The Conjuring: Last Rites.
nice. All right. Well, my number nine, I gotta put a shark movie on my list, right? Like I love shark
Yeah.
movies. If there's a good shark movie that comes out, it's going on my list. And this year we did have a good shark movie. This is Dangerous Animals, directed by Sean Byrne, starring Jai Courtney as a serial killer who uses sharks to to kill victims, tourists mostly, who come to Australia. I'm blanking on the final girl's name. I should have 100% put her. Hassie Harrison. Hassie Harrison plays the final girl of Zephyr, who's a surfer. She's coming um to Australia to catch some waves. She meets this guy, and there's like a little bit of a meet cute situation, and then she gets kidnapped by Jai Courtney and taken away on his boat, and he's like got another girl down there. He's like, the whole movie is just him on this boat, like fishing for sharks with human being bait. It's fucking nuts. And like, I shouldn't say fishing because he's not capturing these sharks. He's literally just videotaping this. Like, it's very like, it's part of his ritual. Like, he's got this old VHS camcorder that he uses to record all of them. So you get this like kind of lo-fi shark attack footage. The sharks act like sharks in this, to the point where like you can't escape the shark if you are smart about it when he lowers you into the water. There This movie does not play out how I anticipated it playing out, and it's got some gnarly gore. It's got some truly terrifying death scenes, and like, anybody that says Jai Courtney is a boring actor needs to watch this movie because he hits his stride with this role. He is on another level. There is a scene after a kill where he is just drinking and listening to music and watching his videotapes and dancing around in his underwear and a robe, and it's one of the most, like, he's magnetic in that scene. It's nuts. Like, I'm just like, what is going on? He's the star of the show. There's a little bit of wonky CGI with the sharks, as there is with like any shark movie, you know? Like, for some reason we just haven't figured out how to make realistic looking CGI sharks 100% of the time, but most of the shark CG is pretty good. Um I really liked this one. I thought it was brutal. I thought it was a good time. Like, it gives you characters that you really want to root for, and it gives you a villain that sticks in your brain long after you've watched it. I loved this movie. It was one of my most anticipated movies going into this year, I feel like, and it did not disappoint. It was a ton of fun. So, Dangerous Animals. That's my number 9.
My number 9 is a movie I just watched. It was one of my like short lists to get in before we did this episode. It was very anticipated for me because I'm a huge fan of this director's previous work, which was Grave Encounters. And I'm putting at number 9 Strange Harvest from Stuart Ortiz. This, for my money, is the most unnerving and, dare I say, like, scariest movie of the year for me, which is kind of crazy that we're doing a horror movie list. My number 9 movie I'm saying is the scariest of the list. It's because we don't get scared anymore. It's very rare that we get scared. But more so, this one's unnerving. It is shot like a true crime documentary. It's like you're watching a 90-minute true crime, but like, of course, they can plan out each little bit of the story to make it even more compelling because it's a fake story. It's a something made up for a movie. So this is about this serial killer from the 80s in California called Mr. Shiny, who kind of just went on these like sporadic killing sprees, like 2 or 3 of them in the 80s, then completely disappeared for 15 years. But he also would leave these notes at the crime scene or mail them to the police department, kind of like the Zodiac killer. And he would have this weird like triangle symbol at the end of his notes. So that's how they knew it was him. But then he disappeared for 15 years, no contact until one day the cops investigate this crime scene that has like this 12-foot triangle of his symbol written in blood. And they're like, "Oh, he's back. And he knows what he's doing this time." So it's a very compelling true crime documentary style movie. Again, taking that Grave Encounters, which I also felt was very accurate to what it was depicting, which is like a Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters knockoff type show, but turning it real. Again, same here. X excels at being a true crime documentary, but of course being a fictional narrative. Yeah, it's just super unnerving. You get so much footage. There's a certain scene where you get like footage of him breaking into this young girl's house while she's like filming a tutorial video on like her laptop. You see everything that happens from that. You see him like breaking in and something that happens. I'm not going to spoil it. But it's just like super unnerving. Also, everything in this movie, like the modern day is like 2010. So I feel like we're on
Interesting.
the train of like the aughts, like from 2000 to 2010 being like an era we might start exploring a little more in films, which is cool because I mean, for us, that's kind of a big era
Yeah.
that we obviously grew up in. We literally grew up in. So I'm excited to see movies taking advantage of that. But yeah, and then it goes into a weird cosmic territory at the end of the movie and gets kind of weird and occult, and yeah, it's a ton of fun. So yeah, if you want to have a spooky good time, check out Strange Harvest. I watched it on Disney Plus, Hulu. But yeah, highly recommend Strange Harvest from Stuart Ortiz as my number 9 movie of 2025.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. My number 8 is, I mean, it's the one in the background. It's Black Phone 2. It's one of the sequels that still made the cut. Uh, what can I say about this movie? This is another one that I feel like a lot of people were like, this was fine, or like some people just outright didn't like it. Um, I feel like The Black Phone was in my top 3 of the year it came out. This one is not quite top 3 level. Like it's not there for me. But
It's
I
also
love
a
the
very different
characters.
year than when the first
Oh,
one came.
100%. 100%. I just love the characters of Gwen and Finney, and especially like the grabber. Ethan Hawke is the grabber. Like he's bringing such a menace to this character, and he is like a modern horror icon. This mask is amazing. I love the world of these movies. I love how it I love the Super 8 footage that he uses to do the like dream sequences in this movie. I think the first time you see the grabber in the dream sequences fully, like I had chills going up my spine. Like there's a heavy argument that this is very much a Nightmare on Elm Street riff, and it is, but it's also like it's doing that in the context of this franchise. Like it's not like it's a complete left turn from the first movie. Like the first movie lays elements out that this one just expands upon. And by the time you get to like the frozen lake sequence at the end of this movie, I was just on board. Like I was enthralled with this. I think the score by Atticus Derrickson, Scott Derrickson's son, did the score for this one, and it's so good. Like I think the theme over the opening credits is incredible. Like this movie is just one of my favorites this year. Like I think that the Black Phone is like a modern. I hope they keep making these. Like I think it's a modern horror classic. Like I could see this becoming a Friday the 13th or a Nightmare on Elm Street type of franchise. And they've already gone supernatural, so you might as well just like dive into it and keep bringing the grabber back and keep having these adventures with him. And you know what? If you never bring back Finney and Gwen, that's fine too. But I'd love to see them again. I think that Madeline McGraw and Mason Thames just do like incredible stuff with those characters. So really liked it. Also, R.I.P. James Ransone. He gets a small cameo in this one, as a ghost with an axe in his head that had me giggling in the theater. So it was good to see him back for the sequel, even for a brief moment. But yeah, Black Phone 2, my number 8 movie. Loved it.
And the only movie on our either of our lists that got its own Fanta can.
True that.
All right, my number 8. I'm curious if it might be higher on your list. This is the first time I
Okay.
think we might have a crossover. My number 8 is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Higher. Yeah. Yep. Definitely higher. Okay. So is it my? It's my number 7
You're
then.
number 7 then.
Okay. This one maybe on yours too. I don't know. Mine is Emily Blickfield's The Ugly Stepsister.
Mine is higher.
Okay. Okay.
All right, then my number 7. Again, speaking of new releases, new ideas in our new releases from this year. This is Drew Hancock's, I believe, his directorial debut with
Mm,
Companion.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Companion. I love this movie. Again, kind of going into it, everybody saw those trailers that feature Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid as this like couple that are on vacation with their friends, and we all saw the trailer. And I think for the most part, everybody could figure out what the story of this is, with it being called Companion and kind of just elements that were leaked out. But there are still some twists and turns in this movie
Oh yeah.
that you are not expecting. Sophie Thatcher is incredible in this movie. One of the best modern scream queens. She's an incredible actress. So good in this movie as playing this android character. And again, I think in a day and age where we talk a lot about AI and the integration of technology into our everyday world, I think this has something meaningful to say that isn't like, boo, all of that, where like it's actually having us as an audience and the movie itself ask these questions of like, well, is something that we created and manufactured able to be, I don't know how to say this, like real? Like, is it something like, can she be a real, not necessarily person, but a real living being with its own version of emotions and its own versions of companionship, of being this living being? And yeah, it raises a lot of questions that we are, you know, able to ask nowadays. But yeah, it's also a ton of fun. Like, this movie's really
Oh
fun. It's
God,
a
it's
it's a
so
fun
fun.
cat and mouse movie. You also get Guillermo from What We Do in the Shadows. You get Harvey Guillen, who is one of my favorite parts of this movie. He's so good. He's so funny in this. Jack Quaid is, he's my favorite Quaid, but also he is such a slimy little sleazeball in
Oh
this.
yeah.
If
And
he
he has
could play
terrible
like,
fucking taste in music.
yeah, if he could play this type of character in every movie from now on, I'm all aboard on board on him playing a douchey little tech bro that gets his comeuppance by the end. Yeah,
Oh God,
Companion
yeah.
rules. So excited to see what else Drew Hancock does in the future, because this was a knockout for a first feature film. And yeah, great cast, great movie. Again, makes you ask questions by the end, but also just kind of just a fun popcorn thrill ride, if that's what you're looking for too.
Yeah. I do wonder if I had given this one another watch closer to making this list, if it would have made mine, because
It was
it
pretty
was in
early
my
in the
top
year. I
10
think it was
for,
like March or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. So like it was just one of those where I'm like, yeah, it was really good, but like here, I mean, recency bias does play into this
It does.
sometimes. Like it just does. But no, Companion is amazing, and I echo everything you say about that. It's great movie. Great movie.
Also, great like color design in this movie for the characters.
Yes.
Like, just great outfit design and color schemes in the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
So
All
yeah, that
right,
was
does
my
that
number 7,
mean
Companion.
7? Okay, so we're at 6. I'll
6.
be curious if this one made your list, if it's going to be higher. My number 6, which is coming in lower than I thought it would when I walked out of it in the theater, Final Destination Bloodlines.
A little higher. So we'll talk about it
Little
in a minute.
higher? Damn, okay. Okay. Sounds good.
My number 6 again was, I believe, your number 8, The Ugly Stepsister.
7.
Number
Yeah.
7. You're number 7 then.
Yeah.
The Ugly Stepsister.
Yes.
From Emily Christine Blitchfield. This is, everybody talks about, last year both of us had The Substance, I think, if not number
Top 3 for
one, at
sure.
least, yeah, top 3 for both of us. This feels like like this year's version of like, okay, this is our like practical effects gonna gross you out a little bit, but also having something to say. In the world of public domain movies, which we talked extensively about in our last podcast
Yep.
with Jack Frost and the Mean One, and this year we got like 5 Popeye movies and another Bambi movie and Peter Pan and Screamboat and all of these movies make something like The Ugly Stepsister, because this is a take on the Cinderella story where Cinderella has what, maybe 15 seconds of screen time in this movie.
She's not in it very much at all. Like, she's
like, we all know the story of Cinderella, and that's happening in the background, literally in the background of this movie. And all the things you know about that are happening in the background. But what about one of her sisters who is also trying to kind of have this makeover and make herself not the ugly stepsister? It is a intensely gross movie with a lot of body mutilations in it, especially to the nose. There's a certain scene with a tapeworm where that is the gross out scene of 2025, where it's like, oh, we're seeing that. That's disgusting. And on top of that, again, has something to say about society and women. And yeah, I think it's one of the best original movies of the year, while also, like, nobody talks about this in terms of it being a public domain movie, when it 100% is, because it's a Cinderella story. And how much better it is than, I think probably why no one talks about it in that sense is because how far ahead and how much better this movie is. The Ugly Stepsister is compared to all of the other movies.
You can't compare them because it's like it's like, I don't know. It's like comparing a 5-course gourmet meal to fucking McDonald's, heated up the next day. You know, like The Ugly Stepsister is so fucking good. It is one of the few movies this year that genuinely was able to get my gag reflex. I was like, and honestly, it wasn't even the tapeworm scene. That is gross.
Yeah.
That is gross, don't get me wrong. Like, but it's the nose, it's the foot mutilation, it's the fucking eyelashes. Like, all of that stuff. Just like, I had to turn away for some of it, you know? Like, it is, and you've got Lee Myron in the lead role as Elvira, the ugly stepsister. Yeah. She's so fucking good. She's got so much vulnerability in this, but like, just the way this movie plays out and the abuse that she puts herself through just to be accepted by society and to be like, quote unquote, pretty. Like, Jesus Christ. It's such a fucking good movie. Like, I love this one. I'm glad it's on both of our lists because it's one of those that I was like, I watched it and I'm like, I don't know how you don't put this on a top 10 list, like, for this year. It's just one of those movies that hits, and people, even if you're like looking at it like, oh, it's a foreign language film, it's a period piece, like all of that, watch it anyways. There's now an English dub on Shudder, which I don't support. Watch it in the original language. It's so much better.
It's fine. You can read subtitles. Most of you, like me, have subtitles on while you're watching English language movies anyway. Like, just read it. It's fine. You know the story of Cinderella. You can catch most of it.
Yes. It's so good. Like, yeah.
And the costuming is wonderful. Like, setting it, of course, in the time period that it's in is wonderful. You feel fully immersed in it, and also has like this kind of like, I don't know, like a bit of like a, like, not techno, but like, what am I trying to say? Like a little bit like of a Wild Wild West steampunk type feel in this movie too. Like, again, takes like a lot of those medieval trappings and kind of updates them and makes them its own thing in this movie. But yeah, Ugly Stepsister rules. It's one I do need a rewatch again soon because I had such a good time watching this movie, and it's a blast. So if you have not watched The Ugly Stepsister, go check it out. It is on Shudder right now.
Yeah.
All right, so that's
And that
my
was
number
your...
6. We're getting to our top 5. Sam, what is
All
your
right.
number 5?
My number 5 is something I'm sure you have higher. It is Zach Krager's Weapons.
Higher.
Yeah.
My number 5 was lower on a little bit lower on your list. It was your number 6. It is Final Destination Bloodlines from Adam Steed
Yeah.
and Zach Lipovsky. This might be the best Final Destination movie, period.
It is the best Final Destination movie.
It is so good. It is the perfect update to this series and exactly what the franchise needed for like a soft reboot, if you will. Because the previous 5 movies, and we talked about them earlier this year. We did number 1 and number 5, which kind of cover most of the series there. How they're all connected to that first movie. That first movie is kind of that inciting incident that all the other movies kind of have to find their way around. Whereas this one, we go completely back in time to, what is it, the 1950s when we start this movie, in the giant tower that you see in the poster. Such a great opening disaster that we get to come back to, because you have everyone who survived that disaster and their families are getting picked off. And specifically, we get, again, great horror characters where you care about the characters, you care about this family in Final Destination Bloodlines. I think you have one of the best horror characters in a long time, probably of the year for sure. Eric,
Cousin Eric,
Richard Harmon's character. He's so good in this movie. His big scene in the with the MRI machine is it's so good. All the death scenes in this movie are just
and
incredible.
the fake out death scenes are amazing too. Like, I mean, we're gonna spoil some of these. Just warning. Like, but like his fake out scene is so good. I mean, it was the first trailer. And, you know, the whole thing with the piercing shop, him getting his, like, his nose ring caught in the ceiling fan, all the chemicals lighting on fire, and then the fake out of him being alive, the reason why being revealed later in the movie is so funny. Like, and then his actual death scene is amazing. You also, like, Tony Todd. The Tony Todd of it all in this movie. He reprises his role for in this franchise for the last time, and has a really poignant moment that he goes out on, where he's basically just talking through the screen to his fans, to the people, and it's beautiful, and it's one of the best moments in horror this year. I teared up. I've watched this movie like 3 or 4 times this year. I cannot get enough of it. It is my fun watch this year. And yeah, but this scene gets me every time. It makes me tear up. And
which I believe he, from what it sounded like, he kind of wrote most of that scene, or at least the ending monologue that he ends on. Yeah, and again, it's crazy. So I don't necessarily think of Tony Todd when I think of Final Destination and Tony Todd. I don't always think of the two of them like as the Tony Todd franchise. Of course, I go to like Candyman or even Hatchet before I go to Final Destination with Tony Todd, but this felt like a love letter to all of that with him, to all of his fans, to him himself. And yeah, what a perfect send off for one of the great horror actors of all time, Tony Todd. Inside of a great movie that is, even if you're not a fan of like all of the Final Destination movies, I think you'll be a fan of this one because there are twists and turns that the other movies don't really take. Like you said, there's fake out death scenes where I think all the other movies pretty much just, all right, we're going to give you this death scene and then we'll move on and then we'll give you this death scene. It's not necessarily like faking out where that character will last another 30-40 minutes. It's just death scene. But yeah, there's a ton of incredible ones in here, and I think it leaves off on enough to give us a sequel. Maybe not with the same characters, but enough that these two directors, Adam and Zach, will be back for another Final Destination movie. And if we can get every other year we get a new Final Destination movie, yes, please, more.
Yeah, bring it back. I love this franchise. There's only one movie in this whole series that I just cannot stand. But this one's the best one of the bunch by a mile to me. I love it. So That was your number 5, right?
That was my number 5.
All right, all right. My number 4. In keeping with the annual tradition of like, we had this podcast recording scheduled. I was like, I've got time to watch get one more movie in. And I got one more movie in this morning before we started recording. And I was about halfway through it and I'm like, this is making my top 10 list. And that is Dead Talent Society by director John Shu. This is a Chinese a Mandarin film horror comedy about ghosts in the afterlife who have to prove their worth by being scary. Like you get licenses to haunt so that you can appear to humans, and it's like very influencer reality TV inspired. Like if you get caught on camera as a ghost scaring someone, you get rocketed to stardom. And you know, like if humans make a movie based on your haunting, like that's a big deal too. And so you've got all of these ghosts in the afterlife that are competing to like basically be relevant, just to be remembered. And it centers around this one girl who was kind of just, she floated by in life. She didn't have any like real like talent or recognition that happened in life, and she died. You find out later how she died. It's God, it's tragic. Like there's some like really heavy stuff in this, but it is also just one of the funniest comedies that I have ever seen. Like it's a very dark comedy. There are suicide jokes. There's a lot of jokes around death and just the manner of death, like in which people go out. But like she finds this ragtag group of people who used to be like the top scarers in this industry and have since kind of fallen to the wayside for new younger people to take over, and they kind of like prop her up, and they're like, no, like if you don't want to disappear, like we're gonna help you become a scarer, you know, we're gonna help you be one of the top haunters in this industry. And so it's about this team of people who are just basically trying to prove that they still have worth and value in this afterlife. And it's beautiful. Like it's a beautiful movie on top of being laugh out loud funny, on top of being like it takes so many J horror tropes and like deconstructs them. Like you've got all these interns and like assistants that are going around behind the scenes, invisible to humans, helping out with the scares, like putting up pictures on the walls and stuff, and like knocking over chairs and all that to distract them so that the actual ghost can get into position. And like all of these sequences are done with so much care and so much love. And I don't know. It's almost 2 hours, which when I started, I'm like, oh, this is not going to sustain for 2 hours, is it? It does. It is so good. It is streaming on Netflix. As they do with all of their international movies, they just purchased it and dumped it with very little fanfare onto their streaming site. It's so good. I'm so glad that I ended up picking this one to watch because I think if you like Asian horror and that genre in particular, like of like it's not J horror, but like it's very J horror adjacent and very ghosty. Like you're gonna love this because it just subverts all of that and deconstructs it in just really clever ways, while also having something kind of beautiful to say about like knowing your worth and not taking what other people not caring so much what other people think your worth is, and finding it from within and from the people around you that care, you know. It was great. So Dead Talent Society, that's my number 4.
I had never even heard of this movie. So
Most people haven't.
Yeah.
I
have
just
not
like,
seen that on any best of lists. So
I saw it on one and I was like, that sounds interesting. I'm gonna watch that before we make ours if I can. And I'm really glad I did. So yeah. If you watch one movie from this list, Dead Talent Society, streaming on Netflix.
all right, so that's not your number 4. My number 4, I know, is not on your list. I don't know if you watched this one this year. It's a franchise I know you're not a fan of, but I am a huge fan of this franchise. It is VHS Halloween on streaming now on Shudder. I what's that?
Not on my list. I actually did not see this one. It was on my list of like I should try and get to this. I just didn't.
It's I think you'll dig this one, even for fans who maybe have jumped on and off the series. I love this series. Not none of them are perfect. This is probably the one that comes closest because I don't think there's a bad segment in this movie. Again, all of them are Halloween themed. You have, I think there's one, two, three, four. There's five segments plus the wraparound. The wraparound is probably my favorite to the series. Diet Phantasma, which are like these this company that's like testing this diet soda on children, and it makes them like they'll drink it and then like fucked up shit will happen to them, like just gross out special effects that'll happen. Again, the series for some reason has a thing with like giant animals giving birth to stuff and giant human-like humanoids giving birth, because the last one had like the giant stork giving birth in VHS Beyond. This one has another similar one where it's just these like girls that end up in this house that has this like giant mother thing feeding people and like becoming controlled by her. Really fucked up little segment. Then you have Paco Plaza, who did the Wreck movies. He did a segment here that is pretty much, I would say it's the closest to like the first two VHS movies, where it's one of the more serious ones in this, but also has like a ton of dark fun, really good eyeball gore gags in that one. I think my favorite one of this one though is Fun Size, which is the Casper Kelly one, who did a lot of stuff on Adult Swim. He did the Too Many Cooks segment from Adult Swim. And if you've ever watched that, you know exactly the tone that this is going for. It's what Five Nights at Freddy's thinks it is, but this one's having a ton of fun with that concept of weird kids characters just mutilating and killing people and turning dicks into chocolate. Kid Print, which is the most fucked up one, where it's like this store in the 90s that takes pictures of kids, so parents can basically like have a card of, if their kid goes missing, here's their picture. Turns out, of course, that the people taking the pictures are have something to do with these kids going missing. And then Home Haunt, what if a backyard, little shitty neighborhood haunted house comes to life and all the monsters become real. Ton of fun, so much fun. Again, watch this around the Halloween season. It is a perfect Halloween vibe. It is probably, I would say it's definitely up there of my favorite VHS movie, and just some of my favorite segments of all time. I hope they keep making this series every year for as long as they can on Shudder. VHS Christmas. That's what I hope for next. Let's do a Christmas anthology next from the VHS series. But that is my number 4, VHS Halloween, streaming on Shudder.
Right, so we're in our top three now, right?
Top 3. We're in our top 3.
Okay.
I don't think there's gonna be one movie I think in my top 3 that is not on your list,
There might be.
which is kind of crazy to me.
Well, my number 3, I hope, is on yours. My number 3 is Sinners by Ryan Coogler.
Higher.
Higher. I figured as much on that one. Yeah.
My number 3, I'm a little worried, isn't on your list. Now, my number 3 is my last franchise movie. It was such a surprise. I had so much fun with how freaking great this movie is. The sequel to this is coming out in like a month. It is Danny Boyle's 28 Years Later.
So glad that you put this one on your list because it was in my top 10 and I took it off right before recording and I'm like, and here's my reasoning why. Because Bone Temple comes out in 2 weeks. I cannot wait. And from what I'm hearing, Bone Temple will unabashedly be in my top 10. Like, I have sky high hopes for this. And I was like, I don't know when the next Black Phone movie is coming. I don't know when the next Final Destination movie is coming. But I know that the next 28 Years Later movie is coming, and it'll probably be on my top 10 list next year. So I'm okay leaving it off this year.
Fair. I'm
But
okay
this
at
movie is great.
having 2 years in a row where there's a 28 years later movie on it, because I feel like they're going to be very different movies. This is also a very different movie than the first two. It's Danny Boyle
Yes.
and Alex Garland returning to the series for the first time since that first movie came out in 2002, correct?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
oh 02.
yeah, this one, it's so different in that basically we find out society all these years later, there's basically like just this small island that's left with the zombie apocalypse. The rest of the earth has moved on and is kind of the earth that we know now, but this small little area of the UK is contained to being, all right, well, they're screwed. They're stuck in the zombie apocalypse. Everybody else is going to kind of move on. Love that concept, and I think we'll probably explore that more in the sequels. But yeah, you have great performances here. Jodie Comer is she's just incredible. One of the best
She's incredible.
actresses working today. I still don't think she gets enough love for how great she is as an actress. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I can always take or leave him in most roles. I think he's good in this. And then I think the standout here is Spike, their son, Alfie Williams, and Ray Fiennes in this movie.
Yes.
He's incredible in this movie, especially when Spike escapes and goes out like basically beyond his little community's walls and is on his own and runs into Fiennes' character out in the woods, and you have this. There's a scene where basically it's Spike becoming a man and kind of having to become his own person after his father doesn't make it out, and his mother doesn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, there's such a great speech from Fiennes. His like setup with the bones is iconic.
Oh God, yeah.
I love how different it is from the rest of the movie. And of course, you get zombies in this because that's what this series is known for. And yeah, you get one of the most iconic zombies, I would dare say, of all time, with our
Yeah.
main
Samson.
alpha zombie with his giant flopping zombie dick out there chasing you, and it's terrifying. It is a terrifying, like, it is maybe the most scared I've ever been of a zombie, because if I saw this big, beefy, 6'6", muscly, hairy man with a giant zombie dong chasing after me, I would probably, I don't know what I would do. I wouldn't cower because I don't want that giant zombie dick flopping all over me if he's gonna attack me. But it's terrifying. It is scary, and yeah, very primal zombies in this movie.
I am pumped to see where they go with this. Like, I think this movie is masterful, and I think it sets up so many threads that I cannot wait to see play out in the next one. Yeah.
And that stinger
I love
with
this movie.
that stinger at the end with Jack O'Connell is awesome.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
It's so fun. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, is this where we're going with the next one? Okay.
I texted you that I would have plenty of regrets by the time we ended this recording on my top 10 list, and not putting 28 years later on is probably one of the biggest. But yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
It is what it is.
And again, this is what you do with franchise movies. We talked about it with Final Destination, Bloodlines. I will say the exact same thing here with 28 Years Later. You take that original idea and you do something completely new and inventive and different with it, and that's what Boyle does with his own series here with 28 Years Later. And so excited to see what Nia DaCosta does in a couple weeks.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's my number 3, 28 Years Later. We're in our top 2 horror movies of the year. Sam, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is one that was lower on your list quite a bit. Mine is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I am a sucker for a big, bombastic, overlong, self-indulgent monster movie. Peter Jackson's King Kong is still one of my favorites of all time. I love Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula, and Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is going right on that list of like, wow, I can't believe that this is as long as it is, and it still hooks me through the whole thing. It flies by for me. I love what he does with this story. I don't think it's a one-to-one to the novel, and I think people that are looking for a one-to-one to the novel are coming away a little disappointed from it. But it is a more faithful adaptation than anything else we've gotten, I feel. And I think it's cast perfectly. I think Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein is very good. But I wasn't a Jacob Elordi doubter going into this. When Andrew Garfield got replaced on this movie with Jacob Elordi, I'm pretty sure I said on our Discord channel, like, what a downgrade. And I am eating my words now because Elordi gives one of the most soulful, incredible performances as the monster. Like, he is my second favorite monster behind Karloff. Um, I think he's so good in this. I think he's bringing something that, like, I don't know, like, this movie moved me to tears. Like, the final scene between him and Victor is just, it's beautiful. It's it's so tragic, like, this whole story. Like, there's not really a happy ending for anyone involved. Like, it's pretty sad, but that's kind of how the book is too. Like, I don't know. I love a good sad gothic horror movie, and this one did it for me. I adored this, and I'm waiting eagerly for the Criterion collection to pick this one up because that seems to be the only way that you can get a Netflix movie on Blu-ray these days. So the minute Criterion announces it, it's a pre-order in my it's going to be a pre-order. Like, I love this movie, and I can't wait to see it again and again and again. So Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, my number two.
Yeah, this was my number 8, so much lower on my list. And full disclosure, I mean, this is probably my most anticipated movie of the year.
Mhm.
I was so excited for this. I love Del Toro. He's one of my favorite directors of all time, and of course, him getting to do like his dream project of a Frankenstein adaptation for me just felt like a home run. And maybe my expectations were a little too high.
Mhm.
I love 95% of this movie. And I'll tell you the 5% I didn't was most of the stuff on the boat, especially to start the
Oh,
movie.
really?
Yeah. Mo- Not necessarily the monster's interaction with Dr. Frankenstein, but him being like a superhero character, like just yeeting characters and pushing the
Oh
boat.
God,
And
I love
it
that.
felt, I felt the CGI and green screen too much. It
Mm,
took me out of it, and I was like, oh, what are we doing here, Del Toro? And then when we finally
yeah.
like get to Victor telling his story, I was like, yeah, I'm hooked. All right, this is what I wanted. And then when the monster gets back on the boat and has, you know, his speaking parts with Victor, I'm like, okay, I'm on board with this stuff. But that first like 5 minutes, like the cold open of the movie, I was unfortunately like just not on board for. Maybe I just didn't know what to expect from that. So maybe on a rewatch I will vibe with it a little more. But I loved everything else about this movie. Never felt the runtime at all. I saw a review that was like, I just imagine Del Toro in his giant house with all his monster stuff and books around him writing this movie, and it makes me happy. And I'm like, yeah, if
Yeah.
I picture that, that also makes me happy of him knowing he has a like giant Karloff Frankenstein bust, probably like staring at him dead in the face while he's writing Mary Shelley's Frankenstein on this big, huge budget with whoever he wants to cast in this movie. It,
Oh yeah,
it's
this is a blank check movie,
this is
and
a
he
blank
he
check
uses
movie,
all of
and
it.
yeah, I think for that, I'm just happy he finally got to make this movie, and it being still an incredible adaptation of the Frankenstein story, and one like we haven't gotten before. And of course, like before this, I would still say Bride of Frankenstein is the best Frankenstein movie of all time, and much like that movie,
Hmm.
the best scene is Frankenstein's monster with the old
Oh
hermit.
God, yeah.
Again, same thing here. It's the best. It's the best scene of the movie. Kind of the emotional heartbeat of the monster character is that sequence of him and the old hermit in the house. Incredible. Mia Goth is queen. She's the queen.
Yep.
Like, she's the best.
She's
Dual roles in this movie. She's incredible. She is so good in both of those performances. But yeah, I had a great time with this movie. And again, I wanted to love it just a little more. That's unfortunately why it was number 8. But I was like, no, this is one of the best movies of the year. It has to make the top 10.
Yep. I mean, the boat stuff that frames the movie is something that he lifted from the book and then tweaked a little bit. Like, Frankenstein does not have superpowers in the book at all.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing, was him just like throwing guys like super far.
Yeah.
But like the setting of the boat and like that being the conference, yes, I liked that. It was just the actual like effects stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. The boat stuff hooked me from the get-go. I was just like, yeah, I'm in on this. Like, I don't know. Yeah, this movie just worked for me on all levels. This and what is my number one flip-flopped on this list a lot. Like, Frankenstein could easily be called my favorite of the year. There's just one that I just keep coming back to, and I think you probably know what it is.
I actually don't know what your number one is, because obviously it's not on my list.
No, I don't think it is, because I know what your top 2 is based on.
Maybe I do know what your number one is. I'm shocked.
You know what my number 1 is. That it stayed my number 1
that
for
it's
like
still
almost the whole year.
Anyway, we'll get to it. All
yeah,
right.
we will.
All right, so let's move to. So that was your number 2, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. My number 2, one you mentioned on your list already. My number 2 horror movie of the year is Zach Cregger's Weapons.
Yeah. This movie fucking rules.
It is so goddamn good. Again, between my number 1 and number 2, these are the 2 big ones for me where I think they could have flip-flopped. I think they are the horror movies of the year. 2 original ideas from kind of modern movie masters, and I think Cregger's coming into his own. I really liked Barbarian a lot. Didn't love it. Weapons, I think, is just a total upgrade from everything he did in Barbarian. He has so much to say in this movie, but he's not going to tell you what he's saying, which I kind of love, where like there are things he's trying to say, especially about school shootings. And of course, it's kind of like the big overarching theme, but the movie itself is not about that, which I do love, is that he's saying something about it without having to like exploit it and be an exploitive movie. He's telling his own original story while also being like, all right, this is a theme that I want to touch on. And I love the story of this movie, where it is like this teacher whose classroom one day, all of her class goes missing except for one kid. In the town, and the parents are just wondering what the hell is going on. Why is your one class disappear in the middle of the night and just run out in the streets with a Naruto run, and they just disappear? Like, where did these kids go? And the unraveling mystery of that is so good, and how we follow each characters from from the teacher to Josh Brolin's character being the dad of one of them, to the school principal, which is a terrifying sequence.
Who were like heartbreaking and terrifying and just awful. Yeah, like that scene hurt my heart. Which one's your favorite?
I really like.
Because I know mine.
I think James's is where the tone of the movie starts to shift, where he's the drug addict character, where I feel like you start to figure out what's going on here, and you're like, okay, we're going for something supernatural and weird in the second half of this movie. I honestly can't pick a favorite. I think they're all great in their own right, because they are all so different. Because you start off with Julia Garner's kind of point of view of being the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Brolin's has like one of my favorite jump scares of the year with,
oh god, it's so good,
Aunt Gladys, who is the horror character of 2025.
Yeah, Amy Madigan fucking kills it in this movie.
Kills
She's
it.
So good.
Benedict Wong's is incredible, and like
his little octopus hand as he goes towards the hot dogs just cracks me up.
Yeah,
like it's so funny.
Yeah, but when you get to like
Alden Ehrenreich's segment is the only one where I started to kind of feel like, oh, let's move on from this, because he's the cop.
Yeah.
Who's like, freshly sober, but he's not sober, and like, you know,
Again, but I
that one
think
was the only time. But you need that.
you need
Like, there
that, and
is
also
a
Krager is saying something about
about police
police
brutality and
brutality and people in power and authority.
yes,
And
100%.
he's not
And
like
so
bashing you over the head with any of the themes in this movie. There are so many
no,
different
no.
themes. It's kind of crazy the balance he is able to pull off in this movie, especially when you get to that tonal shift in the third act of, okay, now we're just doing a weird balls out crazy
Oh God.
supernatural movie. Like when you
The
get
final like 15 minutes of this movie are like if it was just the final 15 minutes, this would be my number one. No, hands down, like it's incredible.
and I
Like
think it's during James's segment where he's in the house and Brolin ends up there, and Brolin's just like yeeting these people, like yeeting
mhm.
the people under Aunt Gladys's control, and it's like, okay, what's going on here? And then you get to that
Yeah.
final segment with Aunt Gladys, and you figure out what's going on, and you're like, okay, we're doing something really wicked and weird in this third act. And yeah,
Mhm.
this is the most satisfying third act of the year by
Yeah,
far.
for
Like
sure.
any ending to any movie of the year, it's the most satisfying. Where spoilers for, I guess, weapons, if you don't know what this movie is. Everybody's seen this movie this year, it seems like. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have all the kids breaking out of Aunt Gladys's trap, like her control, and just chasing her ass down the street through houses and literally tearing her apart by the end.
Mhm.
Incredible.
Yep. I loved, like, I was cackling. This was a great one to see with an audience too. Like I got to see this in the theater with people, and there were a couple scenes that just really like everybody reacted to. The one that like I genuinely scared the shit out of me is when Julia Garner falls asleep in her car and the silhouette lady comes out of the house with the scissors and
Yeah.
is walking so fucking weird,
And like
and you don't
circles the
see who
car.
she
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like and you stay on Julia Garner as she like goes around the car, and then you hear the back door open and you're just like I was like, nope, nope, get me the fuck out of this, like what are we
Great
doing?
audience gasps when that you hear
Yes.
that sound of the car door opening.
Yep. Terrifying. Just so good. So good. So yeah, weapons is fantastic. It had to be, yeah, had to be on the top 10. All right. So that was your number 2,
That was
correct?
my number 2. We're at the number 1
Okay.
spots.
All right. So my number 1, to the surprise of probably absolutely everyone or no one, or I don't know, um
I'm shocked.
is
I'm shocked this is number 1.
I can't deny that I love this movie. It's Oz Perkins the Monkey. Um I don't think I had a better time in theaters than when we saw this. Like, if I'm being honest, the person who puked in their popcorn and left after Oz Perkins got turned into cherry filling in a sleeping bag. Just every gore gag just made me laugh hysterically. We had people that were like reacting not well to some of these deaths, and like I couldn't stop laughing. And then we went to a super serious movie after this. I'm pretty sure we went and saw. Didn't we see The Devil's Bath after
The Shutter
this?
movie, yeah, Devil's Bath,
Yeah,
which is like a
we went and saw.
period piece about.
It's like almost not even horror because it's just like a straight drama about what legitimately happened back
Yeah.
in like the medieval age. And I was so like giggle happy on this movie that I could not stop. I had to bite my tongue through most of The Devil's Bath because really dark stuff was happening. And I had just watched what I consider one of the greatest dark comedies of all time. I genuinely think so. Like, this movie still makes me laugh hysterically. I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times this year. I put it on when I do dishes now. Like, it is just like it's a movie that I throw on all the time. I Oz Perkins' cameo in this is so fucking funny. His drunk swinger uncle character who is like taking in these twin boys and saying, like, your aunt and I are gonna do the best we can, but we're probably not gonna be very good at it. Like, I just there I don't know. There's so much humor in this movie, and yet there's real heart to it too. Like it always has a dark punchline afterwards, but there are moments of genuine like joy for life, you know? There's the scene where after the funeral of their babysitter, the twins' mom is like telling them about death, and like it's kind of this morbid, like darkly funny like monologue that she gives, and then she's like, let's go get ice cream, and then they're back at home and they're dancing, and then the next scene she fucking dies. Like it's like it always pulls that rug, like the brothers when they reconcile at the end as adults, and like both of them are finally ready to have that relationship, and then the bowling ball to the head happens, and it's just like, what the fuck. um and it's just, I don't know, it it's one of those movies that like I think my way of dealing with grief has always been like joking about it. Like I am always the person at a funeral cracking inappropriate jokes. Um and like that's how I operate, and like this movie felt like that on a cinematic level. I'm like, this is this movie is me at a funeral. So, yeah, I loved The Monkey. I thought it was fantastic, and I it's my favorite movie of the year. It just is. I'm as shocked as you are that it nothing bumped it off, but I kept putting something else in that top spot, and I was just like, no, nothing goes there except for The Monkey. It's my favorite. So, Casey, what's your number one? Because I loved that movie too.
My number one was on your list. It is, for
Yeah.
me, the movie of the year when we look back at 2025, and that is Ryan Coogler's Sinners.
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler is one of my favorite working directors. I love everything he touches. For me, turns to gold. From his start with Fruitvale Station to the Creed series to even like, I don't love the movie Black Panther. I think it's one of the best acted and directed movies in the MCU because of Coogler. Coogler's an incredible director, just one of the best that we have working today. And then when I heard, oh, his next movie's going to be an original idea, and it's a horror movie starring Michael B. Jordan, who might be my favorite actor working today. I love Michael B. Jordan. We get double dose Michael B. Jordan in this
Yeah.
movie too, and
This
that
was
is
the
why.
year of twins in movies.
What's that?
This was the year of like twins in
It
movies, I
was.
feel
It was.
like.
We had, of course, the two auteurs of cinema, Michael B. Jordan and Theo James, playing twins this year. Theo James is good in The Monkey. I'm just, yeah.
Oh, he's so good in The Monkey. He's like another one like Jai Courtney, where like up until this point I was kind of like, yeah, okay, sure, and then he just like kind of blew me away this year with this performance. But anyways,
I
back to
mean, Michael B.
Sinners.
Jordan blows me away in literally everything he's in. From, I think
Yeah,
Chronicle
he's
was the
great.
first movie I saw Michael B. Jordan
Yeah,
in
and he's incredible in that.
2012, and I was like, who is this
Yeah,
guy? This guy is a star. And of course, everything else happened
yeah,
after that. But yeah, Sinners is for me the movie of the year. Where again, kind of like Weapons, it is taking all of these big ideas and putting it into this melting pot of a horror movie. Where you have, on the surface level, it's a vampire movie, much like From Dusk Till Dawn. It kind of has that slow burn until the second half, where it becomes a full blown vampire movie. But I think that's where the similarities really end between the two. I know a
yeah.
lot of people have called it a knockoff of From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm like, I love From Dusk Till Dawn. Sinners is a far superior movie to that, like,
It's
by
so
far.
disrespectful and reductive. Like
It is.
I understand a like base comparison. Like, yeah, they were both vampire movies that hold off on the vampire shit until the second half. That's it.
That's
That's the
it.
only like oh. And I like From Dusk Till Dawn, but like don't put those two movies
I
in the same
love that movie.
conversation.
It
Like
is, that is where that ends. But Sinners is incredible. I've seen it twice. Watched it on the big screen when it first came out. Was brought to tears during the like history of music number about halfway through the
so good.
movie. so good. It's such an incredible scene. I hope for that scene alone we get some Oscar nominations for this movie. But yeah, and then again, watching it at home, it was just as powerful watching this movie in the
Mm-hmm.
grand scope of what Coogler pulls off with this original idea. It's yeah, like even the ending when we do that time jump to modern
Oh, it's so
it's
good.
modern day, right? Or no,
Yeah, it's like, well, it's at least
it's like the
90s. It's like
90s.
maybe the 90s, yeah.
Um
Um,
it's yeah, it's such a great jump for this movie to kind of just leave the audience off on. It's also like an extremely like horny movie. Like it
oh
is not
yeah.
afraid to be sexual. Like all of our characters have relationships with other people, and
Mm-hmm.
it's explored in this movie. When you get to the vampire stuff, it's so good. It's so much fun too. It gives you all that vampire mythology and like vampire action that you kind of expect from a vampire movie. Great performances all around. Michael B. Jordan in dual roles is incredible. His chemistry with Haley Steinfeld is off the
So good.
charts. Jack O'Connell is a fantastic villain in this.
Yep.
Delroy Lindo, I hope, gets an Oscar nomination for his performance in this. I mean, he's incredible in literally everything that he's in, but I think he's remarkable in this movie with an already stacked cast. And then you have Miles Canton, who is, I believe this is like his first film.
Yeah. I mean, he's at least very new on the scene.
I'm looking it up
Um,
here as we're, yeah, this is his
and
first,
honestly,
this is
like,
his only movie.
yeah, that's insane.
Insane. He is incredible in this movie as Sammy. The lead of this he's the lead of this movie, and it's his first movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's incredible, gonna be a star, like
Oh, and his
people said about
voice
Michael
is
B. Jordan.
beautiful.
Voice is incredible. The music in this, I hope this gets some big Oscar nominations. I think if any horror movie stands a chance this year, it's Sinners, and for all the right
Oh yeah.
reasons. It's gonna be much like Spike Lee movies are dissected and looked upon all these years later. I think Sinners will be one of those movies as well, of people going back 20 years from now and just picking apart every little detail in Sinners.
Yep. Honestly, on second watch, like my favorite character is actually Annie, played by Wunmi Masaku.
Yeah,
She is
incredible.
just such a fucking badass in this movie. Like I don't know. This is one that just like repeat viewings reward this one. Like it's one that I loved in the theater, and I was so like not surprised, but just kind of it was that's one of my favorite theater experiences this year, because it was one of those where I went in and like young, old, like all people from all different walks of life. Like this was one of the most diverse crowds I think I've ever seen a movie with. Like there were so many different people, and like it hit with everybody. Like everybody was in on this. Like the whole crowd was reacting the same. Like, and for a movie that is very like very specific to a certain like subculture, you know, to have that kind of reach and that power that like everybody can at least relate or enjoy it or just get something from it on some level. Like it's a masterpiece. Like it really is. The only reason it's not my number one is just because of personal tastes, having a Frankenstein movie and a goofy horror comedy about death. Like that's just more what I'm gonna put on. But that said, like if we were doing an objective, like this is the best movie of the year,
Yeah,
Sinners is it. Like it's that good. Like it's and Coogler getting the deal from Warner Brothers to own this film outright after 15 years. Fucking iconic, man. Like I'm so glad that he was able to do that, to ink that deal. Like this is one of those movies where I walked out of the theater and I'm like, this is why movies exist. Like this is the capital M movie of the year.
yeah,
And yeah, I I hope it can break the curse of like horror at the Oscars and just win some fucking, like it deserves it. It deserves all of it. Coogler deserves Coogler deserves Best Director, undoubtedly for this. I think I don't know. We we should be so lucky if Sinners sweeps the Oscars this year.
Well, we will see. I think it'll get plenty of nominations. We'll see if it wins. But for us, I mean, for me, it's the number one movie of the year. Period. End of story. Sinners is that, and I just love that. On my list, like for me, Weapons and Sinners being two original ideas that are both also studio movies, raked up at the box office, while also kind of just being these auteur movies of like directors with carte blanche to do whatever they want, and did whatever they want and knocked it out of the park with these movies. Frankenstein I would throw in there as well, even though that got a very limited theatrical run, but was still very big on Netflix. Again, a director doing what they wanted with not an original idea, but an idea that Del Toro has sat with for a very long time. I think this year is just a year of kind of like big ideas being brought into the horror genre, and these great directors doing what they do best. Yeah, Sam, let's go through our top 10 lists one more time, and then we'll get to some honorable mentions. I'll kick it off here with my number 10 through number 1 of my top 10 horror movies of 2025. Number 10, The Conjuring: Last Rites. Number 9, Strange Harvest. Number 8, Frankenstein. Number 7, Companion. Number 6, The Ugly Stepsister. Number 5, Final Destination: Bloodlines. Number 4, VHS Halloween. Number 3, 28 Years Later. Number 2, Weapons. And my number 1 horror movie of 2025, Sinners.
Number 10 was Him. Number 9, Dangerous Animals. Number 8, Black Phone 2. Number 7, The Ugly Stepsister. 6, Final Destination: Bloodlines. Number 5, Weapons. Number 4, The Dead Talent Society. 3, Sinners. 2, Frankenstein. And 1, The Monkey.
So, yeah, we did have 5 crossovers on this list for this year. So I win points. I don't know what points I win, but I win them, I guess.
You win them, yeah.
I got them. So some of my honorable mentions really quick. I'm shocked neither of us had a Predator movie on this. Predator.
So the reason
Badlands and Killer of Killers were fighting for that number 10 spot, and finally I was like, I could say they're sci-fi just so I can fit a proper horror movie in here. And I did. But again, I loved those movies, so either one of them could have been in that 10 spot for me.
Honestly, that's the only reason Badlands didn't make my top 4. Like, I loved Predator Badlands. It is easily one of my favorite movies of the year, but I'm like, it's not straight horror. Like, it's more of a sci-fi adventure flick, which is probably why I liked it so much, but I also, So that's also an honorable mention for me.
2 of my honorable mentions were on your list, The Black Phone 2 and The Monkey. The Monkey went down for me on a rewatch, unfortunately. Because again, like you, I was like, this is my number 1 horror movie of the year. I love this. And then on a rewatch, I was like, the stuff with like the father-son relationship was like, all right, we're kind of, I don't know, just wasn't hitting like the rest of the movie was for me, but still really loved The Monkey. An early one from the year was Presence that could have made my top 10 list. I loved that movie. I think it is a very flawed movie. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it's also like one of the most unique movies that I saw all year. It is so different and creative from any other ghost movie that I've ever seen. And then another one that could have made my number 10 spot, I Know What You Did Last Summer. I loved this movie. It was so much fun. I thought of this was kind of my last one of like, do I put I Know What You Did Last Summer or The Conjuring here? I had a ton of fun with I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it's not a top 10 movie of the year, but it's also very much an honorable mention for sure.
Yeah, so my honorable mentions, like we said, Predator Badlands, 28 Years Later. I Know What You Did Last Summer is also an honorable mention that was very much vying for the 10 spot. I was like, I have the Black Phone 2, which is kind of a slasher, but I'm like, really don't have a slasher on my list this year. And I kind of wanted to put one on there, and if I were to put one on, it would have been I Know What You Did Last Summer. I really loved that one. I think that, again, overhated movie. Like, I thought it was fantastic. and then I had Companion on my honorable mentions. I had Good Boy, the dog horror movie. I that one was in my number 10 spot until I replaced it with him. Um, I loved Good Boy. I thought that it was so inventive. I thought that it was so like just emotional in a sense, like watching this dog lose its owner and having that manifest itself in like a haunting kind of aspect. Like I loved Good Boy. I'm glad that I saw it in the theater, and I get why it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it really was mine. And then one that I recently watched that almost made the list again was Together, directed by Michael Shanks, with Alison Brie and Dave Franco. I love body horror. I love horror comedies. I love like mumblecore relationship dramas, and this felt like a good combo of all of those. Like I was like, this is literally just body horror mumblecore, and I was in on it. The ending kind of whiffs a little bit. Like the final effect isn't as good as I was hoping for, but like I had a lot of fun with this movie anyways. So it almost made my number 10 spot. But yeah, those are my big honorable mentions. So lots of good stuff this year, honestly.
Big
Like
year. Yeah.
we could have done a top 15 and I would have had plenty to choose
I
from.
still would
So
have had stuff left off if we did a top
yeah, I
15. That
probably would have. Yeah.
it's a stacked year. So those were our top 10 horror movies of 2025. Audience, if you're out there listening, please drop a comment either on Spotify or on YouTube if you are listening to this of your personal top 10 horror movies of 2025, or let us know ones that we missed on our top 10 that you would have put on there instead. Let's hear your list, because again, there's no wrong answers here.
Yeah.
If you had Screamboat as your number one horror movie of 2025, you're a crazy person, but you are not wrong because it is your list. But yeah,
Yep.
that is our top 10 horror movies of 2025. Sam, let's get to a little ad break before we get to our final segment of the show.
Sounds good.
For the past 2 years, though, I have had a full moon movie. I did not put a full moon movie on my top 10 list this year. So,
I was waiting for it.
Charlie, what are we doing? We gotta pick up the slack in 2026. I saw they just announced like 8 movies they're doing next year, so maybe one of them will sneak on. We'll find out. But
Hey, at least 4 of those will get made.
at least, at least 2 of them probably. Anyway, let's
At
move
least
on to our first ad read of the show. We've joined the Full Moon Army, and we want you to take advantage of our exclusive offer for listeners to Screams from the Basement. Full Moon Features, best known for their Video Isle classic franchises Puppet Master, Subspecies, and the Evil Bong series, is offering 10% off every order on fullmoonhorror.com when you use our discount code SCREAMS at checkout. This goes towards all in-stock items, including Blu-rays, DVDs, replicas, action figures, and so much more. Exclusions do apply. Again, visit fullmoonhorror.com and use promo code SCREAMS at checkout to save 10%. Thanks to our friends at Full Moon Features.
And thank you to Fangoria. Fangoria, for over 40 years, has been the leading source in horror for all things spooky, horrific, and macabre. The famed magazine is back with a vengeance each quarter with brand new issues of Fangoria magazine, featuring interviews, retrospectives, and insight into the world of horror. We have an exclusive offer for our listeners to save 20% off their subscription to the magazine, the latest Fango merch, and so much more. You can visit shop.fangoria.com/screamsfromthebasement or hit that QR code down at the bottom of the screen and use promo code SCREAMSFROMTHEBASEMENT at checkout, again to save 20% off that order. Thanks to Fangoria for helping support the show. All right, Casey. What have you been doing lately aside from trying to catch up on all the good 2025 horror?
Yeah, that's where I'll start off. My 2 big things are catching up on movies from the year, and then some Christmas horror movies to talk about as well, because we had Christmas, kind of our own little Christmas break from recording here. So I'll start off with some of the horror movies I watched here at the end of the year. All of these were on Shudder, actually, so shout out to Shudder for pumping out some great horror movies again this year. Caught the sequel Influencers to the movie Influencer from a couple years ago, which I believe made your top 10 of that
I don't
year.
remember.
I think
I
it
did
did.
like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for fans of influencer, you're gonna have a great time with influencers. It's a blast. If you love the premise of that first movie, where it is this woman who goes undercover and overtakes people's social media accounts after killing them and pretends to be them, and kind of this cat and mouse game begins to develop. You're gonna love influencers. I had a blast with this. I would say it's like right on par with that first movie. It gives you exactly what you want, but again, completely different locations in this. Where we get to again go to a tropical location. We're also in Paris for a little while. It's kind of crazy for Shudder movies how many different locations are in this movie. Whoever was the location scouts on both of these movies deserves an award because it's incredible all the locations they get to go in this movie. It also ups the gore in this one, so if you are a gore fiend, you're gonna love this. Cassandra Naud as the lead in this movie, she's incredible in both of these movies. She's just wonderful. And then you also get Dylan Playfair, who I know was in Letterkenny. He was in the Mighty Ducks Disney Plus show. Um, he's he's in it.
The
Yeah.
long blonde hair. Oh God, I love him.
I'm trying to think of what else he's in. That I've seen him in. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like he kind of plays that like fun like douchey frat guy attitude.
Yeah.
He's always a hockey player. He might actually be a hockey player in real life too. Because he always plays a hockey player in like everything. He has a role in this. He's so much fun. I want to see him in more horror movies. He has that perfect vibe for horror movies. So shout out to Curtis David Harder for knocking it out of the park with another a influencer movie. It leaves the door open for another one. I think we are going to get a trilogy out of this as well. So next up for me was another Shudder movie, The Rule of Jenny Penn. Have you heard of this one?
Yeah, this is one that I really wanted to watch before the end of the year, but did not get to. I've heard Lithgow is incredible in it.
Yeah, so again, this was popping up on a lot of top 10 lists that I was catching. It's all set in this retirement home. You got Jonathan Lithgow and Jeffrey Rush in this Shudder original movie, which is crazy to me that both of them are in this movie, but both are incredible. Like that's the reason you watch it. I saw someone's review that was like, this is Batman and the Joker inside of a nursing home. And I'm like, yeah, that's a perfect way to describe this. Jeffrey Rush plays this old judge who's just over everything. He suffers from a stroke during a court case, ends up in this assisted living home, and ends up meeting John Lithgow, who has this little puppet character on his head, which is Jenny Penn, like this character that everybody else in this assisted living home like worships, and he plays this whacked out crazy old man who used to work at this assisted living place, probably abused people then, now has transitioned to living there and abuses people there as well. He is just bonkers crazy in this movie. He has a couple dance sequences, and I'm like, how is like 80-year-old John Lithgow moving around like this? He is so good in this movie. Jeffrey Rush is incredible too. Little light on like the horror side of things, but for like a fun, crazy character study between two crazy old men doing a cat and mouse of like trying to prove each other's crazy to the orderlies in this assisted living home. People will have a blast with it. On Shudder right now, The Rule of Jenny Penn. Moving on to my next Shudder movie that I want to talk about here, which was Queens of the Dead. This comes from George A. Romero's daughter, Tina Romero, and this is about these club owners and drag queens and dancers teaming up to fight the zombie apocalypse. This movie's a ton of fun. I had a blast with Queens of the Dead. I think this is kind of like a perfect companion piece to to George Romero's zombie movies, where his daughter gets to make her own version of that, and kind of doesn't care about making a zombie movie in a way. It's really interesting. Like she really didn't care. Like it felt like she didn't care about making a zombie movie, but wanted to make like a commentary of her own version of a zombie movie. Because like they mention like, hey, this isn't a Romero zombie movie in the movie, so it has like that little tongue-in-cheek aspect to it. It stars Katie O'Brien as like the club owner. She was in Love Lies Bleeding, I believe last year?
It was last year.
Yeah, someone give Katie O'Brien an action franchise already. She rules. Like she should be having her own John Wick style action movie series. I don't know why studios haven't invested in that already. My favorite character though is Sam, who plays this Beyonce type drag queen, played by Jaquel Spivey. Really like the main character, the heartbeat of this movie. I think there's so much fun in this. But yeah, there's a ton of people that will pop up that you've seen in other stuff. Margaret Cho, Jack Haven, Ricky Lindholm. So like just a ton that like I was surprised how big the cast is for a very low budget movie that's kind of like a one location type movie. But again, makes the most of it. It's a ton of fun. This would make for like a great late night type movie to just get a bunch of friends to hang out and watch Queens of the Dead. And then a couple other older movie watches, I guess. I watched the movie Elves, which is a Christmas horror movie. Have you ever heard of Elves? This is from I believe,
told me about it.
1989? Yes.
Yeah.
I said in my Letterboxd review, this is the Troll 2 of holiday horror movies, and I stand by that. I don't know if there's a better version of this out there. I watched this on YouTube off like a shitty VHS rip. This movie's insane. You have like this alcoholic mall Santa as your hero who like teams up with these group of young girls against Nazi elves. Yes, Nazi elves, because Hitler used elves and their magic to try to create the perfect human race from combining like magical elves with a young virgin. Thus, this is what the elves are trying to do all these years later. It also is a PG-13 movie that has a ton of nudity and swearing and blood and violence in it. How? I don't know. This movie's insane. It is one of the most crazy Christmas horror movies I've ever seen. I would love to watch this with a crowd sometime. I had so much fun watching it alone by myself. I can't imagine what this is like with a group of people. So, Elves, add that to your Christmas watch list for next year, listeners. I caught our friend AJ Chambers movie After School Lunch Special, which is a horror anthology, all food themed segments in this movie. We're gonna have AJ on the podcast later this month for his brand new movie Orgy of the Dead 2, which is coming out into theaters and Blu-ray and DVD. But this is his first feature film. My favorite segment that he has in this is the first one of it, where there's this giant killer tapeworm that comes out of some dude's butt and starts attacking people. And is voiced by Lloyd Kaufman, because of course it is. Yeah, this one's a ton of fun. I think he has it on like YouTube for free. I think it's on Tubi as well. But yeah, After School Lunch Special, a zero budget horror anthology comedy. It's a ton of fun. And then two movies I know you have on your list as well. Watched both Gremlins movies. Classics. What else can you say about both of these movies? Actually watched Gremlins like 1.5 times because we were halfway through watching Gremlins. Then we had a friends miss and we restarted Gremlins. So started it over and we finished watching Gremlins. Yeah, of course, a classic. And then Gremlins 2, the new batch, watched that at the State Theater on New Year's Eve. So much fun. I love that movie. It is my favorite Gremlins movie. It is bonkers, batshit insane. It is Joe Dante not wanting to make another Gremlins movie, so he kind of just makes a Looney Tunes movie instead. It's incredible. Yeah. I love the new batch. It is one of my favorite horror comedies of all time.
We should do a Gremlins episode sometime in the future.
I have it on our list.
Just because. Good. Because
I have
actually,
them separated.
Like,
I have Gremlins 2 with a different Tiny Terrors movie.
Oh, that's right. I just. Yeah. It's funny. I used to say, like, oh, both. Well, I'd only ever seen Gremlins 2 once, and I was like, oh my god, that's a great movie. And I was like, I don't know how you can say you like one over the other, but I can say definitively that I actually prefer the first one.
Whoa!
The second one is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I find that it lacks a little bit of Gizmo. Like, I was missing Gizmo on this watch a little bit, like, throughout, you know? He got some moments, and his big moment in the end is, like, fantastic.
Giant
I
Rambo
love it
moment.
so much.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I don't know. I also think, so I watched the first one at the Twin with a crowd of 98 people, which was insane. And a lot of people who were seeing it for the first time. And a lot of people reacting really well to that movie. And then, like, because of probably the showtime being mid-afternoon on a weekday, Gremlins 2 was not as busy when we saw it. And granted, our whole back row was laughing hysterically, but yeah.
I wish there was a giant crowded theater of people watching
maniacs.
Gremlins 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Maniacs watching Gremlins 2. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but seeing both of these on the big screen in a matter of weeks was just awesome. I love the Gremlins movies, and yeah, I don't know why I don't revisit them more often. Like, the first one's gonna start being like every Christmas watch. I love it so much. So yeah.
Well, Sam, that's what I've been doing. What else have you been doing besides watching Joe Dante's incredible Gremlins movies?
Oh gosh, so I actually have watched.
I have a question because I just thought of it. Have we even covered a Joe Dante movie yet?
I don't think we have, actually.
All right, we're gonna say that first episode 2026. We're gonna remedy that in this year. We have to cover a Joe Dante movie in a double feature.
100% we do. Yeah, aside from, like, watching a lot of Christmas movies, I watched Death of a Unicorn. Thinking, like, that was one that when the trailer came out, I was like, oh, this is gonna be one that'll, like, probably be in top 10 contention. Like, I thought it looked really fun. I found the movie really kind of flat in one note. Will Poulter kind of runs away with it, but I kind of wish the movie was a little bit better. I have a full review on Patreon if people would want to check that out. Because it wasn't a bad movie. It was just kind of one that happened, and I kind of forgot about it after I watched it. Like I said, I watched Together. I watched Him, which made my top 10. I rewatched Scary Movie because I'm so pumped for Scary Movie 6. I'm ready. This movie, some of it's aged like milk, and some of it's still just as fucking funny as it was back in the day. And to me, the funny outbalances the stuff that's aged poorly, and I just, yeah.
What's your favorite line from Scary Movie?
What's my favorite line? I don't know. The one that's sticking in my head is just, like, Marlon Wayans looking directly into the TV camera and going, "Run, bitch, run!"
White people are dead and we getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. That one's good too. Like, it's just it's so funny. The visual gags, the Sean Wayans character, like, clearly being closeted.
Ray fucked me. My favorite line though is I can't remember the actor's name. He has a unique name because he's in Freddy vs. Jason. Like, he's in he's in Night at the Rock. Like, he's in so many different movies. But he has a line when they run over the fisherman where they find the boot and someone's like, we ran over a boot. And he's like, but where's the foot?
Lachlan Monroe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has just his line delivery. Where's the foot?
Oh God.
It's one of my favorites.
He's so funny. Like, this movie, like, Anna Faris and Regina Hall are just on another level with this.
Yes.
They're so goddamn funny.
Anna Faris is like Nev Campbell run, like, in the school. which is like not a parody because she's literally just doing Nev Campbell's run from the movie.
Yeah. So good. Yeah.
And like everybody's
Yeah.
coming back for this new one, so I have
I
high
have high
hopes that
hopes.
both of us will have that in our top 10 of 2026.
Oh my god, I am so hoping. I hope that it is. I hope I like it as much as I liked. I hope I like it more than I liked either of the Scream reboots. I don't know. Although I think Scream 6 made my top 10. Who knows?
It
I
did.
don't know. Yeah, it did. All right. And then I rewatched a lot of just Christmas ones that I try and get to every year. And the horror ones that I always try to get to are Christmas Bloody Christmas from a few years ago, which we did a whole podcast about. You know me, I love that movie. It's fantastic. It's my favorite punk rock techno robo Santa slasher.
Same.
Um, And then I always have to watch the OG Black Christmas, which every year, despite watching it every year, it gets so much better and surprises me in ways of like, God, this is like such a layered movie. This is so good. Like, at this point, I think I have to stop saying that Halloween is my favorite slasher because I genuinely think Black Christmas has taken it. Um,
It's the
I
scariest
don't know.
slasher movie of all time.
It really is. Like it's terrifying. It's absolutely bone chilling and I love it. I love what it has to say about like women's rights, about abortion, about like all of that while also just being a fucking scary slasher movie. Like it's like you were talking about with weapons. It's not holding your hand with any of this stuff. Like it's up to you to interpret it, but like holy shit, there are so many layers to Black Christmas that I think that it just gets even now that it's getting like these reappraisals and people are like starting to be like, well, yeah, like it was kind of a precursor to Halloween. I still think this movie's underrated. I still think that it doesn't get enough attention and enough love in the horror circle because it just it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect and I love it. I love it so much. It's kind of an anytime movie too. Like I don't even have to watch it at Christmas time at this point. I'm just like, I'll throw that on anytime. But it always hits just a little bit harder during the season, you know?
I was gonna say Bob Clark has made the two coziest Christmas movies ever, and they couldn't be more different.
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I watched A Christmas Story the same day that I watched Black Christmas because like, why wouldn't you? So, yeah. That's all I've been doing. I watched Fred Claus again. It's
That's
underrated.
a horror movie.
It's better. It's better than all three Santa Claus movies and Elf combined.
I maybe I don't know. I don't like any of those movies that you just mentioned. So
Yeah, that's because Fred Claus is better than all of them.
uh, same with Fred Claus. Anyway, let's wrap up this. Let's wrap up this episode. Our first episode of 2026. Our top 10 horror movies of 2025. Sam, where can people find our podcast and find us online?
Well, you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube if you like that video component. And if you want to keep up with us, you can always hit the subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, help us get noticed in the algorithm a little bit more. And if you want to know all of the stuff we have going on, aside from just episode drops, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok, where we're posting stuff about our goings-ons, our late night screenings, all of that kind of stuff, including our Screams by Night convention, which we are getting ready to gear up for year 2, coming April 26th, 5th. April 25th.
4/25/26.
4/25/26. Yeah. So, follow us. Just search Screams from the Basement. Our handles are a little different because our name is long and unwieldy. So, Casey, if
Yes.
they want to support the show, how can they do so?
Well, they can do so in a couple ways. The best way they can do so is by joining our Patreon. Patreon.com/Screens from the Basement. Links in the episode description. That's where you get exclusive content each and every month. You get our monthly newsletter. You get a special little gift from us for our first time sign-ups, patrons. First-time patrons, you get a little gift sent from both of us. And for our $5 a month patrons, you get our bonus episode each and every month. Last month, in the month of December, we ranked our top 10 albums of the year. For the month of January, we will be doing a tier ranking of 30 horror movies coming out in 2026. From our most excited to our least excited, we're going to rank all 30 movies that we want to talk about in 2026. We'll put them in a tier ranking for the month. So if you want to listen to that, check us out on patreon.com/Streams from the Basement, or you can check out our TeePublic store to get exclusive merchandise. You can check out all of our t-shirts, our hats, our stickers, all of our designs up there. We will have new designs up there shortly because we do have some new artwork out there. So we will have some new designs up on our TeePublic this month for the month of January. And also you can find all of this and so much more on screamsfromthebasement.com. That is our home, our hub for everything Screams from the Basement and Screams by Night related. We are just over 100 days away from the Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con. So please show us some love and support there and check out all of our guests coming, all of our vendors that are going to be there, and so much more on screamsfromthebasement.com. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our top 10 episode of the year. Sam, do you have any other final thoughts before we leave the people to all of their own horrors?
Philippou Brothers suck. Thanks for tuning in and sweet. No, cut that. They don't. But if you liked Bring Her Back, don't come at me. Anyways. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me, all right? Terrible. All right. Well, please don't unsubscribe from us. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and sweet screams.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.